Hey folks, y'all see what it says? We got a few, I think it's actually 4 news stories here. Oh, and I appreciate everybody watching. If you can give me a like for the algorithm, I'd sure appreciate it. And yeah, this is these 3, I think first 3 stories are in here in Texas, and I'm gonna run through them real fast. KPRC normally don't bother me too much, so I don't have to do a whole bunch in the way of cutting in with them. All right. Let's go ahead and get ourselves set up here and get the show on the road.
Other people were taken to the hospital after suspected car thieves crashed into 2 vehicles. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Daniela Guzman.
And I'm Keith Garvin. Those 2 vehicles were stopped at a red light at MLK Boulevard and Van Fleet Street in Southeast Houston. KPRC2's Rochelle Turner has been at the scene all day and is live with new information about the woman killed. Rochelle.
Keith, Daniela, just minutes ago, Houston Police Chief Troy Finner tweeted out that the innocent woman who lost her life was the mother of a Houston police sergeant. He says that the sergeant is in shock and he is asking the city to pray for his family. This busy road behind me is back open, but earlier today, we and several people from the community watched as police processed the scene and collected evidence. We do want to warn you that the video you're about to see may be disturbing to some. This is what's left of an innocent woman's car after police say 2 suspects stole this gray Dodge Charger and plowed it into 2 vehicles at the intersection of Van Fleet Street and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Hold up. Now, y'all can go ahead and call me all the names you want. I don't care. Stolen Charger, hot rodding it, crash, and then sent this lady to the upper room. I wish the ones that do stuff like that, how come they don't go to the upper room? But then stole somebody's Charger, running from the police, and then sent somebody to the upper room, and you on Martin Luther King Street. I keep telling people, if you own MLK, I don't care where you at in the United States, but especially in a city like Houston or, Philly or no. You in the danger zone. You on the X. Get off the X. X marks the spot. Get off the X. This is a crying shame. And look, man, let me go see, man, this messed up, man. Pull your pants up, man. Wear your shirt. Never mind.
Kathleen Hill says the suspects held her at gunpoint last night when she left a gas station in the 8400 block of Monroe.
In shock. This is heartbreaking. My car can be replaced. I just got it 3 weeks ago, so I have insurance. That lady's life is gone, all because young dudes wanted to take a joyride in the SRT.
She tracked her car.
And that's why I sold mine a couple of years ago. I remember we was having a conversation, me, Sly, and Drew. I said, man, I'm going to sell this car. What you going to sell? I said, ain't nothing wrong with it. I love the car. I said, man, it's just the stigma that came with it. I mean, when I first bought it, it wasn't as bad with them as it is now. So I'm looking at this here. You can see the drag. So they knocked out the tires and axles on the passenger side of the trailer. You can see the drag marks. Here's the car of the mother, the sergeant's mother. That's her vehicle. And there's the Charger. And you can see the coolant or motor or whatever fluids from the vehicle trail as the vehicle impact and then roll backwards. So bang, then roll back to where it's at. And you can see the drag marks. And this, I'm assuming this pickup, this smash in the butt, must have been the pickup that was pulling this trailer here.
Officers found the suspects at the 7800 block of Jutland. A pursuit began, but officers lost sight of the vehicle because they were traveling at a high rate of speed. A nearby gas station captured the suspects crashing into vehicles stopped at a red light.
Disregarded safety for anybody.
Houston Police Chief Troy Finner says he plans to discuss policies regarding police pursuits and how officers handle the situation.
And everybody in the criminal justice system is going to have to take an active role to do their part, getting suspects in jail who need to be in jail, but also from a legislative standpoint, making sure that we understand the seriousness of people fleeing from the police.
And again, the chief just tweeting out minutes ago that the innocent woman who lost her life is the mother of a Houston police sergeant. He is asking the city to pray for his family. The chief also says the suspects were only in their 20s, and he has already asked the district attorney's office to accept charges for murder. Reporting live in Southeast Houston, I'm Rochelle Turner, KPRC 2 News.
Rochelle, our thoughts with that sergeant and his family tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, murder. Go for murder, vehicular manslaughter, grand theft auto, aggravated robbery. Because she said they pulled the heater on her, so that's aggravated armed robbery, aggravated robbery, grand theft auto, vehicular manslaughter, attempted manslaughter with a motor vehicle when you ran from the police, and in the end, murder when you hit and sent this sergeant's mother to the upper room. Yeah, that ought to, yeah, let's start there. Some of this gotta stick. Okay, let's get on with the next one. And y'all know my weakness is babies.
Well, a family is left devastated tonight, wanting answers after a mom is shot to death with her 3-year-old son in the car. Fox 26's Domily Keith is live in Northwest Houston, where this shooting happened. Domily.
Yeah, what could have possibly caused someone to open fire into a family's SUV? That's the question many are trying to answer tonight after a mother was shot and killed while driving here on West Gulf Bank Road. A man who was in the passenger seat was shot and injured. He was later rushed into surgery, and it all happened in front of the woman's 3-year-old little boy.
And this story is also in Houston. The first one was in Houston. This one's in Houston as well.
Now safe in the arms of a Houston firefighter, this 3-year-old baby boy may not fully understand what he just survived, but many others do.
What a miracle.
Around 2:45 a.m., a witness called 911 reporting 2 vehicles going pretty fast east on West Gulf Bank Road, and someone from the 4-door sedan opened fire on the Acura SUV. A man in the passenger seat was shot and injured. Apparently the same bullet shot and killed the mom who was driving.
The bullet that struck the driver passed through the passenger.
After the shooting, the 34-year-old mother behind the wheel wrecked here. And
okay, so they were shooting from the passenger side. So this vehicle, the lady and the dude with the baby, they were in the left lane, and the vehicle was on their right. So for the passenger to get shot first, the bullet went through the passenger and then hit the driver, which was the lady.
Investigators say the car carrying the gunman turned the corner onto West Montgomery, hit the curb, and had a tire blowout. Officers arrived within 1 minute of the 911 call and detained 2 people who were at the car trying to change the tire. The deceased woman's mother arrived, falling into the arms of a Houston police officer. Even as those here in uniform try to console clearly broken hearts, they know their comfort will be fleeting because this kind of pain is...
Hey, Ma, get your grandbaby. Get your grandbaby. Stop hugging on that cop. I understand. I know she probably in for a shock, but get your grandbaby.
likely long-lasting.
It's really tragic and scary for that young child. My thoughts and prayers are with him. I can't imagine the trauma that he's feeling and the shock.
Detectives aren't sure if this is a case of road rage. Now, the two individuals who were questioned by police, they have been released without being charged. Now, detectives believe a third person, the shooter, ran away before officers arrived. The 3-year-old, by the way, was not.
Hold up. She's all right. So 2 of the people that was in the car been questioned and released, and y'all. So you're under the impression that the person that y'all didn't get was the one with the heater. Is that what y'all getting out of what she said? Because that's what I'm getting.
Reporting live in Acres Homes, I'm Damalie Keith, Fox 26 News.
Well, if the one with the doing the clapping was in the car, I mean, y'all more than likely they know who this person is. Okay, all right. I ain't gonna. I'm gonna keep it brief. Next story. This is also Houston. I'm telling you, they can. Hey, LAR. Hey, what's happening, fam? LAR movement still moving. Hey, you my family. I love you to death, but I go there to visit. I holler at y'all and I get out of there.
It's a tragedy that left a 12-year-old boy dead and an 18-year-old arrested and charged with his murder.
Just a terrible story. Tonight, Fox 26 says Damalie Keith spoke with a 12-year-old's mother. Damalie is joining us now live with an emotional interview. Damalie.
Yeah, Caroline, how can a conversation with this mom be anything?
Not trying to be funny, but every time when I hear a new one, I gotta acknowledge it. Damalie. Damali. Wow. These names be knocking me for a loop. Now that's a new one on me. Uh-oh. When you see this, y'all see this back here? See these? This is public housing, y'all. This is what public housing look like in the majority of Texas. Yeah, you got some the smaller units and houses, whatnot. This is more often than not, when you see this in Texas, that's Section 8 public housing. Just letting you know, I know I live here.
Other than heartbreaking and emotional, just a few hours ago, Jaquita Lott was told in a phone call her 12-year-old baby was never coming home. He was simply walking home from the corner store, but 12-year-old Frederick Johnson never made it.
I mean, it hurts, but because it was wrong, it hurts. It's really hard for me to talk about it.
Jaquita Lott says her son was with a friend on Labor Day, and she says she's told Fred asked 18-year-old Callis Willis for $1 so he could buy a soda. She says Willis just started coming around the neighborhood a month or two ago and was familiar with her son.
And the dude told him, I left my wallet in the car, let's walk to my car. So when he went to his car and walked my son with him, my son walked with him to the car. So when he killed my baby.
Just opened fire on him after he told him he would give him money?
He said he had his arm around his, had him in his arm around him, like he was talking to him. And they say he just put the gun to his head and he killed him.
Willis has now been arrested and charged with murder. He's being held with no bond.
You gotta be kidding me.
This mom in mourning had to find out by telephone her 12-year-old had been shot to death.
All I kept saying, are y'all sure that my baby's gone? And they kept saying he's gone. So they kept telling me that he was gone.
After living in that Sunnyside apartment complex for nearly 3 years, Lott and her children actually just moved out of their apartment on Thursday, and they had been staying with a neighbor until the morning of the shooting. Now, Fred, the 12-year-old, he was staying with his best friends to make it a little bit easier for him to go to school. It was his first year of middle school, and he was super excited about it. But ultimately, he only had a chance to go to middle school for...
Wait a minute. What? He would... So the boy wasn't staying with his mom? He's staying with friends? Wait a minute. See, they need to explain a little. Lucy, you got some, Damali, you got some explaining to do. What?
They had been staying with a neighbor until the morning of the and her children actually just moved out of their apartment on Thursday, and they had been staying with a neighbor until the morning of the shooting. Now,
so they moved out and was staying with a hey, y'all, somebody help me out. I'm tripping.
after living in that Sunnyside apartment complex for nearly 3 years, Lot and her children actually just moved out of their apartment on Thursday, and they had been staying with a neighbor until the morning of the shooting. Now, Fred, the 12-year-old, he was staying with his best friends to make it a little bit easier for him to go to school.
So they moved out of the apartment, and they saying so was it more than Fred and his mom or somebody else? Okay, so Fred was staying with his so they moved out, but they was staying with a neighbor, but the boy was staying at his friend's house. 12-year-old boy. Now you staying with me. I mean, this is my child. You staying with me. But so your 12-year-old son was staying at his friend's house, which apparently I'm quite sure his friend should have parents, but somehow while you there, some other teen boy then shot you supposedly over a $1 for a soda. There's something missing here, folks. I'm sorry.
After living in that Sunnyside apartment complex for nearly 3 years, Lot and her children actually just moved out of their apartment on Thursday, and they had been staying with a neighbor until the morning of the shooting. Now, Fred, the 12-year-old, he was staying with his best friends to make it a little bit easier for him to go to school. It was his first year of middle school, and he was super excited about it. But ultimately, he only had a chance to go to middle school for 3 weeks before he was murdered. Coming up in the 6 o'clock hour, hear more from Fred.
So the boy had been staying over at his quote unquote friend's house for 3 weeks. We're missing something. Y'all know what I'm saying. I mean, I ain't trying to obscure or say nothing even close to this boy deserve a 12-year-old boy being shot and sent to the upper room. No, don't even know. But man, you got to do a better job of rearing and keeping your own kids under your roof.
Mom, and hear from the mayor of Sunnyside. That's coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. Reporting live, I'm Damalie Keith, Fox 26 News.
Now, tighten up your chin strap for this one. It's only 2 minutes and 19 seconds, but this don't make no damn. I can't even do a reach around in my own head and pull something to the front to make this one make sense. But let's get it.
On tonight's Breaking Bond, last month, you may remember, we told you about a judge that allowed an admitted killer to remain on bond so he could go get a haircut.
That's right, and tonight he's back behind bars. Fox 26's Randy Wallace joining us with the latest in his ongoing series.
Yeah, Rossi. Now, James Ray Lane showed up to the 351st Criminal District Court last week for his scheduled appearance, but he didn't walk out. James Ray Lee spent 2 years free on bond for a murder charge after Judge Natalia Cornelio lowered his bond amount to $100,000. On August 17th, Lane entered a guilty plea. He admitted to killing 30-year-old Gregory Moore, a father of 4, on June 28th, 2021. Then, according to
he admitted it. So why was he even granted a bond? He admitted that he killed him. What the hell is going on in Houston?
Court documents, Judge Cornelio allowed the confessed killer to remain free on bond so he could go to Mr. Dunn's to get a haircut before getting sentenced.
He just told me it was his last time that he was gonna see me. I gotta turn myself in. I murdered somebody.
If he pleaded guilty, he should have been locked up right then and there.
My son can't get a haircut. Can't see his kids get a haircut.
It kind of touched a nerve with.
Wait a minute. That's the mom? I don't know who this fella is, but he right. He right. When he made a plea, he said that he done it. It shouldn't have been no bond.
Been locked up right then and there.
My son can't get a haircut.
So that's the mama. That's the son. Okay. And he got 4. Man, y'all. I mean, I ain't gonna say what I want to say, but due to the circumstances. So let's just go.
Can't see his kids get a haircut.
It kind of touched a nerve with the people in Harris County. Of course, it became a national story.
Wait for it. A judge, let me give you her name, Judge Natalia Cornelio, lets the shooter out to get a haircut. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Fox Nation.
When Lane returned to court last week, Judge Cornelio remanded him into custody. Now he will remain behind bars until his sentencing next month.
The 351st did a good job, and they did, exactly what we thought should have happened in the first place.
Now, Lee will be sentenced for murder on October 18th. He faces anywhere from 5 to 99 years in prison. Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
On tonight's Breaking Bond, some questions why an 18-year-old charged with capital murder in the slaying of an Uber driver was not behind bars.
Fox 26's Randy Wallace has the latest in his ongoing exclusive series.
He's only 18, but that hasn't stopped Charles Hudson from racking up quite a criminal history, which now includes capital murder.
All in all, this guy is a very, very dangerous individual.
18-year-old Charles Hudson was on juvenile probation for aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. After he got charged with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, 351st Criminal District Court Judge Nada Cornelio gave Hudson a PR bond or get-out-of-jail-free card.
I can tell you in my practice, that's very unusual.
Emily DeToto has been a defense attorney for almost 30 years.
If then they're arrested on a new law violation, or if the state sees fit to file a motion to revoke their probation, they're generally not granted a PR bond.
How do you justify giving someone a PR get-out-of-jail-free card when they're on juvenile probation for a violent offense involving a weapon?
While free on his PR bond, police say Hudson shot and killed 43-year-old Uber driver Hector Torres at 2900 Trail Lake Drive.
This guy was so devious and cunning, he used someone else's cell phone who was already in prison.
According to court documents, Hudson conducted a strange internet search just before the May 27th Capitol murder.
Hudson had searched for where he could buy a ski mask in Houston in May.
Boy, you gotta be. These folks with these phones, no one that. I guess it turns out good that they're dumb enough to not realize that if and when something gets popped, that they're going to get the phone and pull the records and use that against you. I don't get, but I mean, maybe this was the original intent of mobile internet and mobile messaging. So, it'll be another tool for law enforcement to use to book them, Dano. But you're giving it to them. Now, I'm glad he did in this case, because, dude, you just kill an Uber driver. What the hell's the matter with you? But y'all know what I'm saying.
Heck is going to want a ski mask in May in Houston.
On Monday, Hudson was back before Judge Cornelio to face capital murder charges.
It's very early on. We're going to investigate
That judge should look familiar to you.
everything. We're going to go through everything thoroughly, and absolutely at this point he maintains his innocence. So I'm obviously hopeful that that's the case.
If not, Cornelio's decision to give Hudson a PR bond cost Torres his life.
Hector.
So you let out a dude to get a haircut, he murks somebody, and then PR bond with this one, and he murks the Uber driver. Watch this judge get reelected too. Watch you goofies reelect this judge, because you know judges got to run for office, right? They got to get elected, right? They got to campaign, right? Now, unless you run unopposed, then, she ain't got to do nothing but just sit still. But you know what I mean.
Torres, the Uber driver who was just trying to make a living, should be alive today.
Judge Cornelio could have denied Hudson bond since he's charged with capital murder. Instead, she set his bond at $750,000. Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
And finally, now, I ain't got any commentary on this one. I know people's emotions are all over the place, but it's this thing called cause and effect. Just because you don't like the synopsis behind how cause and effect works doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that there isn't a such thing as cause and effect. I go to the zoo and I climb over the bars and I get into the leopard's cage. The leopard didn't have no. Well, why didn't the guy with the tranquilizer gun, he missed, and then when he fumbled getting another dart in, and then when he did get another dart in the gun, he shot the leopard in the tail, and that's when the leopard started chewing up Nick Taylor. If Nick Taylor never would have climbed his goofy butt over the bars at the zoo to get into a leopard's cage, then the accuracy of the dart gun would never have to come into question. Cause and effect. Okay, let's get it. And may I present to you the surveillance video of Takia Young, the one that was the young lady that was pregnant at the time, shoplifted the bottles of liquor. And yes, she was with a crew, just like we say, man, that's normally they run when women they work in crews, and you can see the other two members of her crew in this when they was going to the bounce out of there. Y'all can watch this. I'm gonna let it play. There's no audio, and when it goes off, the video is off. Y'all be good and be safe. Thanks for watching. Bye.